Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Let's get to the news, all right. Folks, buckle up because what I'm about to tell you could shake the entire AFC North and potentially alter the Steelers' future for years to come. Rumors are swirling about a Blockbuster trade involving none other than Myles Garrett, the absolute terror on the Cleveland Browns' defensive line. Now I know what some of you might be thinking. Myles Garrett? To the Steelers? That sounds like a fantasy. But trust me, these whispers aren't coming out of nowhere. Sources close to NFL insider Adam Schefter are hinting that Cleveland, currently stuck in a rebuild mode after the struggles with Deshaun Watson, might be willing to part ways with Garrett in exchange for a first-round pick in 2026 and a young edge, specifically Alex Highsmith. Yes, that's right. The Browns are reportedly looking to free up around $25 million in cap space, which they need desperately to bolster their offensive line, especially considering their ongoing issues on that side of the ball. Now, let's set the stage. The Steelers, sitting at a 7-6 record as December 2025 rolls around, are still very much alive in the playoff hunt. But their defense has been a bit leaky lately, allowing about 24 points per game. Injuries have played a role. Yahia Black's ankle injury sidelining him for 4 weeks, and Derek Harmon's concussion putting him on IR. But even with those setbacks, the need for a game-changing pass rusher has never been more apparent. Enter Myles Garrett. If Pittsburgh could land him, it wouldn't just be a splash. It would be a seismic shift that could propel the Steelers into a whole new stratosphere. Think about it. Garrett, the league leader in sacks in 2025 with 12. 5 in just 13 games, a guy who commands double teams and consistently wins his matchups. Up until now, he's accumulated 98. 5 sacks over his career with a PFF grade of 91. 7, a 25% pass rush win rate, and 4 forced fumbles to his name. As of Week 10 against the Ravens, he put on a clinic with 3 sacks and 5 pressures, reminding everyone why he's considered one of the best in the league. And let's not forget, Garrett's impact isn't just about his stats. His presence on the field elevates the entire defense. When he's firing on all cylinders, the pressure rate jumps significantly, by around 18%, which is huge. For the Steelers, with Watt potentially questionable due to that lingering rib injury, adding Garrett inside could be the difference between a middle-of-the-road defense and a top-5 unit. Imagine a scenario where Garrett and Watt form a fearsome duo, dominating the interior and rushing the passer from the edges. Opposing quarterbacks would have no safe haven, and that translates directly into wins. Plus, Garrett's run-stopping ability, averaging only 3.2 yards after contact allowed per tackle, means he's not just a pass rusher, he's a complete force against the run. This would help reduce the opponent's rushing yards from 142 per game down to around 110, giving Tomlin's defense even more room to breathe. Now, why would Cleveland consider such a move? Well, the Browns are struggling, sitting at 4-9 with a defense allowing nearly 29 points per game. They're in a tough spot, needing to draft a franchise quarterback and rebuild that offensive line, which is in shambles right now. Their cap situation is tight, with only about $15 million in free space, and they're eyeing extensions for players like Nick Chubb, whose contract expires in 2026. So trading Garrett makes strategic sense for them, although it's a bold move that could ruffle feathers among fans, especially after a few failed rebuilds following the Baker Mayfield era. Still, with reports from insiders like Diana Rossini hinting at internal dissatisfaction with the payroll and roster direction, Cleveland might see this as a necessary step to reboot their franchise. For the Steelers, this potential acquisition isn't just about adding another star. It's about transforming the entire outlook of their defense. Imagine Garrett lining up inside, consistently applying pressure, forcing turnovers, and taking away the time quarterbacks like Russell Wilson have to make decisions. With Garrett in the fold, the pressure rate for the Steelers, defense could skyrocket from around 32% to nearly 50%. That's the kind of boost that turns a good defense into a legendary one, reminiscent of the Steel Curtain era, but with a modern twist. It's no exaggeration to say that Garrett could be the X-factor that elevates the Steelers' chances of making a deep playoff run, potentially even contending for the Super Bowl. And speaking of Super Bowls, the impact on the odds is already being felt. According to DraftKings, Pittsburgh's odds to win Super Bowl LX jumped from +5, 0 to +2, 500 after the rumors started circulating. That kind of shift is huge. It's a sign that Vegas and the betting markets see Pittsburgh as a real contender if they land Garrett. In simulations and statistical models, adding Garrett increases their winning probability against top-tier teams like the Kansas City Chiefs, especially in high-pressure playoff matchups. The reason is simple. Garrett's ability to generate pressure, averaging 5 sacks in 2025 and over 450 pressures in his career, can be the difference maker in close games. When you add a player of his caliber to an already talented defense, you're essentially giving Mike Tomlin a cheat code, a game changer that makes the Steelers' defense a nightmare for any offense. But of course, nothing is without its risks. Cleveland might be hesitant to part ways with Garrett because of his elite talent, and the fan base could be upset, especially if it means losing one of their most dominant players in recent years. Yet, if the Browns are truly focused on building around Deshaun Watson and drafting a young quarterback, they might see Garrett's trade value as too good to pass up, especially with the cap space and draft picks they could receive. For Pittsburgh, it's about seizing that moment, making a bold move, and signaling their intent to compete at the highest level. The Steelers have been on the cusp, and with Garrett inside, they could finally push through that barrier, reestablishing themselves as a dominant force in the AFC. To sum it all up, this potential trade isn't just a rumor. It's a strategic shift that could define the next decade of AFC North football. The Steelers, with their rich history of defense and resilience, are looking at ways to retool and power up. Garrett, with his proven track record and game-changing ability, fits that mold perfectly. If this deal happens, it could be the spark that ignites Pittsburgh's Super Bowl aspirations once again, while simultaneously throwing Cleveland into further chaos. The division might never be the same, and Steelers fans should be excited, because this could be the move that finally puts them over the top. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential blockbuster? Do you think the Steelers should go all in and try to land Myles Garrett? Would you be comfortable giving up a first-round pick in 2026 and a young player like Highsmith? Or do you think Cleveland should hold on to him and try to rebuild around him instead? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Steelers. Remember, this isn't just speculation. These are the kinds of moves that can shape an entire franchise's future. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, analysis, and inside info on the Steelers and the NFL at large. So stay tuned, stay passionate, and let's keep believing in the black and gold. Because if there's one thing we know, it's that Pittsburgh always finds a way to come out stronger in the end.